Class 3 Main Markets and Destination Choice. Understanding destination types and characteristics is of paramount importance for its marketing. Each destination can only match certain types of demand, and hence tourism marketers need to appreciate travel motivations in order to develop appropriate offerings and brand destinations for the right target markets. In addition, destinations should be aware not only of the needs and wants of the active demand but also of the potential markets they can attract. It can then develop a product portfolio, which will enable the optimization of benefits and adapt their marketing mix to their target markets. Consumer behavior studies indicate that a wide range of criteria is used to select tourism products. These criteria are altered according to the purpose and features of the trip, elements of the external environment, the characteristics of the traveler, and the particularities and attributes of destinations. Classifying travel behavior and segmentation becomes increasingly more difficult as modern travelers combine pleasure with business, in order to achieve time and cost advantage. There are therefore endless variations between the two principal classifications of travel activities, i.e. business and leisure trips. However, leisure trips may include elements, characteristics and motivations of business travel and vice versa. Incentive traveling, extended conference stays and business meetings during leisure travel makes the distinction between the two categories increasingly blurred. Nevertheless, the two principal categories are fairly identifiable and they are treated differently in this text for simplifying the concepts and marketing responses. Business trips are fairly inflexible and it is often difficult for travelers to select their destinations. Business travel, often referred to as meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions, MICE, is normally determined by business opportunities and involvement of the traveler with organizations at the destination. Perhaps, more flexibility can be exercised by travelers attending optional meetings, which provide benefits but are not strictly essential to their business, such as conferences, exhibitions, incentives, familiarization trips, etc. Even though business tourism is much more restricted in terms of choice, destinations providing a high degree of efficiency and safety, as well as elegance and leisure opportunities, tend to be preferred for conferences and incentive travel. Business travel is seasonal, as people do not generally travel less during the holiday seasons, i.e., summer months and public holidays. Nevertheless, business tourism provide much higher revenue for enterprises as consumers are willing to pay more for their inflexible schedules, and also destinations can increase their multiplier effects as some particular forms of business tourism use a much greater spectrum of local services than leisure tourism. Convenient transportation connections with major cities around the world, smooth arrangements at the destination and adequate provision of business-related amenities are therefore very important. Urban destinations in developed countries with strong economic activity and vibrant markets tend to receive the majority of business traffic, as a result of the business meetings taking place locally. The location of meeting partners, host organizations, as well as company policy may determine the selection of destinations for business travel. In addition, corporate rates, membership of loyalty clubs, i.e., frequent flyer or frequent guest, as well as the availability of service providers are some additional criteria used to identify suitable destinations and service providers for the MICE market. Leisure travelers, on the other hand, use a much more complex set of criteria in selecting their destination. They have a much higher price elasticity and therefore, price is a key element in the decision-making process. In addition, leisure travelers are often time-sensitive as families with children cannot travel during school time, creating the seasonality problem for the industry. However, different market segments have dissimilar seasonality patterns. For example, pensioners and elderly people tend to travel during the low season to benefit from discounts, whilst Scandinavian tourists tend to stay home during the summer months in order to enjoy the weather. School children and university students go on field research trips or excursions during the low season. Therefore, destinations have to identify the seasonality patterns of their various markets and attract compatible segments, which will enable them to maximize their total yield, both average expenditure and occupancy levels. It is also important to understand other factors that influence the decision of consumers to purchase. The social status and peer groups of consumers often influence what is acceptable and desirable as a destination. Travel intermediaries also play a significant role in determining the destination decision of consumers by using a wide range of promotional techniques and often channeling travelers to destinations and principals who offer higher remuneration for them. This will also enable destinations to manage their resources accordingly and attract the right market segments in order to optimize their impacts. Nevertheless, for both leisure and business markets, perhaps the most important criterion for selecting to visit or not to visit a destination is its image. Image is the set of expectations and perceptions a prospective traveler has of a destination. Past experience of the destination or the companies involved, i.e., airlines, hotels, tour operators, descriptions by friends and relatives, general information, and marketing campaigns develop these expectations and perception, which may be true or imaginary representations. Interestingly, the sustainability of local resources becomes one of the most important elements of destination image, as a growing section of the market is not prepared to tolerate overdeveloped tourism destinations and diverts to more environmentally advanced regions. The degree of consumer satisfaction will depend on the assessment of the perceived overall experience of the destination versus anticipated expectations and perceptions. Developing the right image for destinations will therefore determine their ability to satisfy visitors, as it will allow them to develop realistic and fulfillable expectations. Marketing the competitive destination of the future. Destination marketing is increasingly becoming extremely competitive worldwide. Providing innovative and well-coordinated tourism products is therefore exceedingly important for tourism regions. Consumers assess their travel experience as a whole, and they associate destinations with the entire range of local producers and suppliers. Producing innovative and specialized tourism products will enable destinations to attract intentional demand and to differentiate their products. Flexible specialization will also support local suppliers and the region as a whole to evolve with consumer trends and support the requirements of the emerging sophisticated clientele, as well as compete globally. Destinations, which appreciate these principles, can develop and maintain competitive advantage and as a result achieve their strategic objectives. Partnerships between the public and private sector and close cooperation between all local suppliers is key to the ability of destinations to offer quality products. Exceeding consumers' expectations is instrumental for the ability of both suppliers and destinations to attract visitors in the long term. Hence, the competitiveness of each supplier locally as well as their distributors determines the competitiveness of destinations. Local suppliers should cooperate rather than compete, as they need to mature and understand that they should not compete with each other at the destination level. Instead, they should join forces and pool resources to develop and implement comprehensive marketing strategies which enable them to compete with other destinations. The rapid development of new destinations, especially in third world countries, generates an unprecedented level of competition. They can offer unspoiled natural landscapes and authentic socio-cultural resources inexpensively. In contrast, most traditional destinations suffer from their own success and the lack of a strict rational planning and management system. Having gone through most of the stages of their life cycle, they have reached maturity or saturation, and this has forced them to rely mass tourism for their operations. Often facilities require urgent renovation, but lack of financial resources and the unwillingness of consumers to pay jeopardize the competitiveness of destinations further. Initiatives at the local level facilitated by both private and public sectors can improve the tourism product by investment in resources, as well as the implementation of a comprehensive marketing strategy and mix which supports the competitiveness of the destination. This is particularly important for small and medium-sized tourism enterprises, which traditionally dominate local supply but lack management and marketing expertise to operate their business professionally and financial resources to approach their target markets.